and short sales are really where the opportunity is, unfortunately. A lot of people have lost their house. It's a really sad thing. I feel very fortunate having lost my job in May of '08 because retail is the lead indicator. Part of my undergraduate degree is economics, right? So that's why I love real estate, because it's all about huge numbers, and the government and the system that we play in, the capitalistic system we need to see home prices rise. Why? Because we leverage the mortgage industry, we securitize all those loans, and we leverage those loans. Not we, but the banks and the financial institutions. Our 401ks that Don was talking about, what do they invest in? Your mortgages. So what actually happened was we actually hurt ourselves by doing this. So let me talk real quick, real briefly about a couple different topics. What are government and bank homes? How do you find these homes? What are the advantages and disadvantages of buying them? What's a short sale, which is pre-foreclosure, and auction homes? And what are your financing options? Financing options are by far where you can make or break anything. So government homes. Conventional loans are basically, they're called REOs. By the way, if you guys want all these slides, just shoot me an email. My website is chrisracel.com, and I can be happy to give them to you. They're also already published online, so I can send you a link. REO, real estate owned apartment. Banks have it. Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Everybody has it. Government guaranteed loans are your FHA loans. So when you go out to buy a house, you get a conventional loan or you get a government guaranteed loan. Conventional loans typically need a minimum of 5% down. In China, it's 20%. In other parts of the world, it's a whole lot more. We are really lucky to live in this country. 5% down is almost nothing. A government guaranteed loan, Fannie, Freddie, VA, and USDA they guarantee the loan, which is where your PMI comes in, your private mortgage insurance on that loan. So Fannie Mae is by far the biggest fish, and so is Freddie Mac. These are the companies that don't necessarily originate the loans. Say Bank of America originates the loan. Bank of America actually turns around, they securitize the loan, and they're going to sell it to Fannie or Freddie. So Fannie and Freddie, I'm assuming you guys know something about them, at least have heard of them. They're huge. They own most of the foreclosures. They are a quasi-governmentally owned business. Right now, I think Fannie just asked for another $1.3 billion. The only other one I don't have on here is Ginnie Mae, G-I-N-N-I-E, Ginnie Mae, and they have different type of loan programs, and right now they're actually making money, so they're doing really well. Whenever any of these type of loans go into foreclosure, they go in different baskets. You cannot buy a foreclosure if it goes into foreclosure until it is listed with a real estate agent. You go to foreclosure.com, you're wasting your time. It does not matter if the house is foreclosed unless you're going to go buy the note, which most people cannot buy a note. It's a very difficult thing, and I can't even talk to it. But if you want to buy a foreclosure, it must be for sale. Makes sense, right? So where do you find them? You can find them on foreclosure.com or other third-party websites. You can find it from the bank itself, their website, which you just Google Bank of America foreclosures, and you'll find it, which I'll show you in a second. You have the different types of government guaranteed loans. You have HUD, which is Housing Urban Development. It's a huge department. It takes up trillions of dollars, literally. You have Fannie and Freddie, which are quasi-government, which means they're private businesses, which they have stock, which don't invest in it because I lost my butt. But you also have the VA. And you also have realtors, so if you're looking for a home, I'm free. So, third corner of the website. These things are kind of interesting because if you were to actually track it over time, you can see in the St. Louis area, based on whatever your criteria was here, I did St. Louis County, and so that basically encompasses this part right here. And then you have the whole city, which would be totally separate. And so, once you pull it up, you got 50 homes, right? They're kind of sporadic, so it doesn't really show you too much. This is really what you're looking for. This is where you want to see. So how many foreclosures do we have recently, or what's in foreclosure? This does not mean you can buy 1,500 homes. This here is sheriff sale. That's a great way to go down to the courthouse and buy a house. You better know what you're doing, though, because you're not going to be able to see the house beforehand. This is Wells Fargo. Just Google the bank. You can find them, Citi, Chase. They all have homes for sale. This is an excellent opportunity right here to buy a house. HUD.com or HUD.gov. Click on Missouri, click on any state you want, search it. They actually already do a full report on the house. So they've already told you all the problems that are wrong with it. Now you're going to get in the house and see drywall holes and stuff like that. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about plumbing, talking about electrical, the roof, major system things that cost you a lot of money.
Will they have certificates by those who did the inspections?
Absolutely, they will not. They will not have anything like that. They have independent contractors in different markets that have it. HomePath is by far the best place to buy a house today. You can get 3.5% free down payment, or excuse me, 3.5% free closing cost money. That's huge. Typically, as a buyer, when I work with buyers, we always negotiate closing cost money. When you buy a house, you need to have a down payment, which is 3.5% on the lowest amount, 3.5%, and closing cost money. Your closing costs are costs that you have to pay for. In order for you to get a loan, there's a cost to get a loan. They charge you for that. There's insurance to get the loan. You got to pay insurance for the for the house up front. You're gonna have to pay some of your taxes up front. You gotta pay for your lender. You gotta pay for your title company. You don't have to pay for the realtor. That's free. I can pay from the seller. But all those costs, typically around St. Louis, on a first-time home buyer, $130,000, $150,000 house, can be $5,000 or $6,000 ballpark. So you need to get someone to pay for part of your closing costs. You also need part of your down payment money. Now, part of your down payment money can come free. There's different nonprofits out there that we'll touch into. The great thing about this type of home path, which is a Fannie Mae, this is Fannie Mae's website, if you buy a home on here, they give you the 3.5% down free, which is awesome. The other great thing about this is, when you go to look at a house, you want to buy a house, if they lower the price down, let's say the house is going, I just sold one, we close on it next Friday with Emily. She's a nice young lady from Western that I met in grad school. And she actually sold the house at $145. And it was on the market 32 days, started off at $155. After 32 days on the market, it dropped down $10,000. I know that Fannie Mae has got an algorithm, or they got some type of law, rules, whatever, that says after so many days on the market, 30, 60, 90 ballpark, the price drops. Systematically, I know it's going to drop because I've done business so long. She doesn't want to pay $145 for the house, right? It's out of her budget. She wants to pay $130, $135. Said, let's wait. On that, right around 60 days, let's go. So I'm always looking on my system, my M.A.R.S system. I'm waiting for the agent to change it. Smart girl she is, she goes straight here, which I told her about earlier. They changed it here 48 hours before they changed it to my system. We had a contract on her house at the new price point, which we negotiated. If they dropped to $135, we got another $2,000 off, plus she got the 3.5% towards closing costs. She got it at $132, $133, $132.9 for when everybody else still selling the market for $145. So it pays to be proactive, to know what you're doing, to work with a realtor, because people that weren't working with a realtor that really saw that awesome $10,000 price drop, which is pretty significant, on $145,000 house, they missed that whole opportunity. Because they didn't, one, they didn't know where to look, and two, they weren't working with somebody. Home Path, or Home Steps, is Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. They also do a lot of awesome deals. Homesales.gov, the government sells a lot of stuff just through different departments alone, through drug busts, through repos. Any type of nothing good, you can buy stuff from them, including homes. Some of these homes you may not want to go into because they do have problems associated. You may have other people still visiting your house later, but you can still buy it, right? Put a new sign out front. Something you can also do is go to my website and go to foreclosures, which is how I try to score people off the internet. Something I did, which was highly profitable, it was actually I lost money on it, but could have been highly lucrative, is I spent $20 a day on Google AdWords. People Google search St. Louis foreclosure all the time. So what I do is I give people my website here, which is foreclosures.com, which I said wasn't all that great, right? But you click on it, they can go search for homes or whatever. In order for them to see the address, they must register. You must give me their name, phone number, email address, or whatever, something like that. 9 out of 10 times, well, 9 out of 10 times you get some type of contact information. About half the time it's bogus. The other half you get phone numbers, and these people can't afford to buy the house anyway, because I can't give you money and I can't give you credit. That's something you always got to bring to the table. Or you got to know somebody has money, or credit, or co-signer. But, so that was the case. I spent like $1,500 on it. I got at least 10 phone numbers a day. It was awesome, talked to a lot of people, but at the end of the day, it didn't really do anything. So, it's a learning experience. What are the disadvantages and advantages? This is really the meat and potatoes of everything. So, let's see if I can scroll down. Okay, so you get things for below market value on foreclosure. Short sales are by far even better. Foreclosure is going to be beat up. You're not going to have things like people stole the fridge, people stole the stove. When you buy a house, certain things are considered attached. A stove is considered attached, a refrigerator is not. A refrigerator can always go. So you get things at below market value. You get your closing cost incentives. Like Fannie Mae is at 3.5%. If you buy a house, you must close, which means buy the end of October. Home Path Protection Plan, there's home warranties that you can buy. They're about $400 a year. The other GSI entity is going to give you a 2-year home protection plan. Fannie Mae is going to give you like $4,000. Freddie Mac's going to give you like $400. So they're two totally different. One also owns more houses. If you also do a Freddie, you can get appliance discounts. There's also a lot of other great discounts going out there. So there are really awesome things going on there right now that nobody knows about, especially our government, which is really unfortunate. You have something called the Good Neighbor Next Door program. If you guys know anybody at all in your life that's a law enforcement officer, a firefighter, a EMT, or a teacher of any, you can't be an administrator for a teacher, it's got to be K through 12, you get half off a HUD home. Literally 50% off a HUD home in a designated area. But we can designate where those areas are. All we got to do is appeal for it. Half off a house if you buy a HUD house.
Does he know someone?
Excuse me?
Does he know someone?
Excuse
Or
me?
you are someone?
If you are somebody. Well, yeah, if you know somebody, tell them about it, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah. So, that or pick up a teaching degree. Dollar homes. Literally, our governments, municipalities can buy a house for $1. It is awesome. And then huge discounts on HUD homes for rehabilitation and low to moderate income. Disadvantages of buying a foreclosure. What are you going to get when you go buy a foreclosure? First, a short sale, which this is not talking about short sales. If you're going to buy a foreclosure, you're going to look at a house that does not have updated roofing. These people lost their house. They were not putting money into it, typically. Excuse me, unless the house was actually in the middle of construction. Then you might see a half-done job. You also see 203K loans. A 203K loan is a construction loan. So a regular FHA loan is going to be just to buy the house. Well, I told you about my first house, right? I needed $150,000 when I was all said and done, $100,000 for the house, $50,000 in repairs. A 203K streamline means that you're going to spend less than $35,000 in repair. A regular loan means you're going to spend more than $35,000 in repairs. I've done 2 of them in my life. The first one I ever did was a young lady named Audrey. Met her off the internet through RE/MAX. She's 23 years old. She is a nurse, actually, at BJC. And she's going to be traveling around. She was really motivated buying an old house in one of the old mansions in the Central West End. She got this awesome old house. Well, we put $80,000 into that house when we were all done. We bought it for $65,000, put $80,000 into it. It is an awesome, awesome home. It's in a very rough area, literally. Another great one is home path renovation financing. Fannie Mae homes are by far the best homes to buy. They're probably giving us all these incentives because they just asked for $1.3 billion from the government, which is a ton of money in terms of real estate. This right here is the home path renovation financing. A lot of times when you do a construction loan, there's all these other charges. You got to pay people to come look at what you're doing to make sure that the loan is going to cover the correct things. You're not going out and buying a car or a boat or whatever you're actually fixing the house. On home path renovation financing, all those are thrown in with it. You don't have to pay extra, which is awesome. Saves you more money. Special sale contracts. So things when you buy a foreclosure. When you buy a Bank of America foreclosure or Fannie Mae foreclosure, we live in St. Louis, right? They don't care about that. They don't care if you're in St. Louis, Kansas City, or wherever. They want one standard contract. My contract in St. Louis for buying real estate is totally different than anywhere else in the country, based on Missouri laws, the first one. What the government will have you do is sign their contract that says, our contract supersedes anything else, and these are the rules. It's good because it streamlines everything. That is new. They have not had that. So you hear about all these problems with things taking forever. That's one of the things. Typically, and almost 99.9% of all homes are sold as is. So what you see is what you get. They're not saying they've ever lived in the house, because they haven't. This being the government or the bank. They're not saying they know what's wrong with it. Every once in a while, you'll find that Fannie Mae may do something really small. They may give you new carpet. They may clean something. If there's something in violation of a municipality code, like you need to have a stair rail or something like that, they will take care of that. Short sales are awesome. So I'm helping a lot of people right now with short sales. Short sales means that they can no longer afford their mortgage. A good example of that, adjustable rate mortgage, things that float with interest rates. You get the house, you're paying $900 a month for a 2-bed, 1-bath. It's worth about $100,000. I literally have someone paying $1,650 a month for that one house. You could be in a $200,000 house at that price point. They're living in a $75,000 price point. So what we can do is we can sell the house short. They owed $121,000 on a mortgage. I had it listed at $90,000, right? I just said it's probably worth about $90,000. Had an offer for $40,000. We took it. So what they did was that $40,000 offer, my seller says, take it, I don't care, I'm not losing any money anyway, the bank is. So what that does is, it took 100 days for the bank to actually order an appraisal and get the appraisal out there. Appraiser came in at $73,542, so $73,500. So the $40,000 we knew wouldn't take, but the $90,000 was too high anyway, because I just came up with a random number, who knows what the bank's going to take. So with them putting in that $40,000 offer, the guy came back and I said, look, it must be somewhere, it's got to be about 90 to 95% of whatever that appraised price is. I got him to do it at $91,000. He's also a firefighter in St. Louis City, so he has to be in the city limits. So it's just how different short sales works. That house, if I would have listed it by myself, would have been at $90,000. This guy's picking it up for $71,000 at a short sale. Huge discount right there. Especially when the guy who actually lives there owes $121,000 on it. And the difference between a short sale and foreclosure, so there's a family living in the short sale. It's habitable at time of purchase. Big difference than the foreclosure, you're not moving in the day you close. Ever. Never. Auction homes, not going to talk too much about them, other than that you get deep discounts. Most of us in here, unless you have really good financing or really a lot of cash, you can't get an auction home. You must deliver funds within 30 days, and you can't have contingencies at all. There's no contingencies. Contingency being, I have to get double check on the money. It's contingent upon appraisal. There is none in an auction. It could be contingent upon a home inspection. Normally, there is none in an auction. You take a lot of risk with an auction, but the people that do it, they make a lot of money. That first house that I could have, our second house could have bought off Shenandoah, that sold at 90 at auction. They fixed the roof, got rid of the mold, flipped it for $165,000. Those people, after they probably put in 10 grand, made $50,000 in 3 months. But they had to have the money up front. This is one of the auction companies out there. They're by far the biggest. You can go to this company, williamsauctions.com, and look up any auction going on. I won't talk very long about this. This was actually designed for the Florissant presentation. Neighborhood stabilization programs, all these foreclosures, especially up north. Up north is where we saw a lot of people lose their jobs in St. Louis City and St. Louis County. So the government can actually, the municipalities can buy these homes for $1, fix them up a little bit. They do a really good job, to be honest with you. And then they can sell them, and they make a profit. St. Louis County is offering up to $30,000 almost in down payment assistance if you qualify for all the different income brackets. Now, it's probably almost nearly impossible to actually qualify for all these different things, because once you qualify for one, you might knock yourself out of another, but it's usually the income-based. So that's incredible. That's incredible. You can get $30,000 free money. Typically, you can only get about 3.5%. If you buy a house in St. Charles, St. Charles can give you $10,000 just to buy the house. So what are the financing options that we have out there? So if you're going to do, first off, if you're going to buy any house, you need to have a pre-approval letter. It just says you talk to a lender that someone's willing to give you money. Do you have to use that lender? No. Do you have to get money? No. It just says that someone pre-qualified you saying, yeah, if you need to get the money, we give it to you. Something I recommend personally, if it's a Bank of America foreclosure, call Bank of America up and go, I want your pre-approval letters. The guy that's looking at your offer, if he sees that his bank approved it, it makes his job a lot easier because he's got 3 layers of management that this has to go through. It's really annoying. It takes literally forever. First time home buyer down payment assistance, this is huge. This is why you should work with a realtor that knows what they're doing. If you work with a part-time realtor that's not in the business full-time, they don't know about these programs. And it's really unfortunate because you can buy houses left and right. You can get good deals. You can get better deals if you know to use Missouri Housing Development Corporation money. Beyond Housing is a charity. County charities, you can be Mormon and still get the money from them. Veterans Affairs. Right now you can get a VA loan, which is 100%. You have to have no down payment on a VA loan. That's awesome. There's a lot of other great programs out there for veterans that I recommend. Another great thing you can do is, there's a lot of websites out there. This is the best one I found, so I linked it to my website and framed it in. There's Bank of America. If you or your family work at Bank of America, you get a discount. Cardinal Glen is all St. Louis, Missouri. Blue Springs, city of Lee Summit is actually giving away free home money. St. Charles, first home down payment right here, it's $10,000. If you bought a house in St. Charles just recently, your first time home buyer, make less than $70,000 a year, you got $10,000. I mean, you'd probably want to kill your realtor, to be honest with you, if they didn't tell you about that. Doesn't mean you could have got it, but the fact that you didn't know about it is a huge disadvantage to you. Gracias. So, a lot of information. I don't know. Do you guys have any questions at all? Awesome. So I got one pitch to you guys, so tell me what you think. So, something in my business is I do a lot with referrals. So if anyone that you know or anyone in the country can do a referral, they call me up as a fraternity brother. I guess this is my pitch. Call me up as a fraternity brother and say, I want to buy a house in California. $500,000 house because that's about average house out there. I need a real estate agent. RE/MAX has offices all over the world and the country, most of this country. So if you call me up and say, Chris, I want to buy a house. You're just, you moved out there. I go, okay, let me find you a realtor. Call up another realtor. I get a 25% referral fee out of that whole profit. Whatever referral fee I get, half it I'm going to give to the Leadership Foundation. It's pretty good, right? $500,000, I'll probably make, I sold a $679,000 house, got $11,589 paycheck. So let's say I would get a $6,000 paycheck out of that. $3,000 would go to the Leadership Foundation. So I'm pitching it to fraternities, first time I've ever done it, but there's probably on average more than 1 or 2 fraternity members buy or sell a house in the country in one given month. So I will give half of that, whatever my commission is, to the Leadership Foundation, which in turn gives you guys scholarships, or gives us free food at lunch. So thank you guys. If you have any questions, send me an email.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's right. You guys like Rams? Yeah.